Brenton here with another video on this beautiful Friday on the 7th of December. I'm just really excited actually for today. We did have a couple of our signals being executed in the market. Their link is in the Discord, so you guys can check out those signals. We basically yesterday when we talked about this in the market when we're live, we talked about the consolidation at this area, and we were saying that it was going to short, kind of have something previous to this, and it did. And obviously our signals were hit in the Discord, so people that were in that trade made profit. And we had one other one, the USD ZAR. We had Michael talk about this one. He said it was just basically going to be the same thing. He was completely right. But the thing is that the market did do M formation. So we talked about M formations yesterday, how they form at moving averages. And we're just going to go back and show you guys once again for the people that are new. My name is Brenton Walker. I'm the Forex analyst at Traders Profit Club. I've been fully profitable trader for about two and a half years now. And I just am teaching people a lot of knowledge, stuff that I had to understand over and over and over again for me to excel and to become a successful trader. So there's a lot of elements that I talk about in our segments. I talk about structures, supports, fundamental structures, as in like psychological numbers, which we'll go over basically in every single live stream until people really get it. And then other things, break support, and we just go over like really key elements that really happen all the time in the market, that are consistently happening every single day. So let me just turn off my phone and make sure that it doesn't ring on me at this time, you guys, and throw it on the bed. So from there, let's go forward with today's live stream. So today we're going to be talking about the USD, the US dollar, Japanese yen, talking about the Euro USD, and the Great Britain pound. And we're going to be talking about the perspective, kind of like how we did in the USD CAD yesterday, on where the market's going to be going to in the next couple of weeks by using the formulations and the strategies that we talked about in our previous videos. So I'm really excited for today, guys. We had a really good ending week, closed a lot of profit. As you guys know, that we closed a really good trade on the Great Britain pound. We closed another good trade on this USD CAD. We closed a great trade on the USD JPY this week, and we got stomped out on the AUD this week, which wasn't a bad trade. It just wasn't ready for us, and we saw it, or I saw it differently. Mistakes happen, and we caught the USD ZAR. If you had a lenient stop loss, then you probably did still execute. But for people that were hitting or going with the risk reward that I had on the signals, I apologize. The market did go to the upside before market price shot down, so we did get stopped out of that trade, but it did end up going the way that we spoke of. So that's the important thing, is to just know that we were on the right track. We obviously just had the wrong stop loss, which is totally happens all the time, you guys. So really excited, you guys, for that, and yeah, just going forward. So we'll start off with the ZAR, the USD ZAR first, and we're just going to go over the 15-minute chart today, you guys. I'm just going to break it down step by step so you can be able to get it. I learned that me talking on the 15-minute chart, it makes everything a lot easier because I'm not really talking from this huge macro perspective. I can just break down every section for you guys, and it really gets down to the nitty-gritty, and that's what I love to get down to, and you guys can understand exactly what I'm going forth and talking about. So really excited for today's video, and I'm going to just, if you have any comments, you guys, please just put on the side while I go over today's session. So that being said, when we saw that the USD ZAR was going to the downside, that was during yesterday's consolidation area, during about end of New York session. Okay, so then we obviously had during Tokyo session, which was around here, we saw a little upside momentum at Sydney session, which was obviously making that swing high. We saw market try to retest those previous highs, making that M formation that we talked about so heavily, and we saw it at the psychological level, which was at 14,16750. That's where we saw the market price basically drop up to, and then we saw it finally plummet. So it happens sometimes, you guys, and usually that's why I put my stop losses at previous highs, but obviously I wanted to keep that risk to reward very stable and have it at least 3-to-1. So it happens sometimes that you get stopped out of a trade. But if you guys saw that trade, and we already talked about it in the live chat, you could have went back in that trade and obviously went back into it after you saw the M formation completed, which we talked about so much in our video, where it comes up, comes down, came up, try to test these previous highs, and then shot back down and hit our target, which was right here. And the reason why we put our target here, you guys, is because this was the consolidation before a breakout area. So that's usually where we want to put our targets at, because that's where the market likes to retest. We love to talk about that, where the market actually broke this area previously, and then now that's where the market retests. And same thing with the USD CAD. I'm actually in this trade. This is the only trade I'm going to be taking profit at the end of the day. We got in this trade. We already took our profit. And then now I'm entering this trade because I saw a resistance at the psychological number. So now I'm just trying to see if I can get a little more money before the end of the week. Because as you guys know, that the forex market does close on Fridays and it's open back up on Sunday. And we're going to go over why I don't usually trade Fridays, and why I don't trade Sunday markets. And why I kind of don't trade Monday markets. I usually focus on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But we'll go into that in future videos. So as you guys can see, the same thing happened here with the USD CAD, USD Canadian dollar. The consolidation buildup was right here until I actually had it in the Discord group. I called out when the market was going to break out. I said that consolidation during Tokyo and Sydney session, we'll see a percentage. Actually, I'll show you guys right here. It was in our Discord group. I made this right here. I actually called it out earlier this morning. I said update consolidation buildup during Tokyo and Sydney session, breakout during London session, 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 35 to 75 pip downside momentum. I called it out before, obviously, the market happened, because I'm not going to, and then this is what happened, you guys. Just like I talked about, the market did exactly that. It did consolidation during Tokyo and Sydney session, and then it broke out. So I'm not just teaching you guys, I'm really teaching you guys the dynamic ways and how the market works, and stuff that I've been able to, use over time to be able to make some profits. So I'm really excited that you guys called that out too. It wasn't just me. You guys were with me, and shout out to Michael for seeing that as well. When I know that it consolidated and induced you to go long one more time, trying to test these previous highs, and then it hits your take profit. So that happens sometimes. You have to give it leniency. The thing about the market is that it needs leniency, because anything can happen. You have to have time for those volatile moves to the high or to the low. But overall, though, we killed it. So we saw that the market made these previous highs, and that was my mistake. I should have known that the market was going to make that M formation, because it was already making one. It was already consolidating in the middle ground, already at that 50% level. And we talked about that 50% level, how the market likes to retest that and then come back up. So that was my bad, Michael. If you were on this, and apologize for that. I hope that you got in this trade, and maybe that you saw that the information was formed and you took that target and made some profits there. So we were obviously, right on the target, right on the money, and where price was going to go, as you guys can see right there. So that is what we're going to just end up. Just wanted to clarify about yesterday's trades, and we're finished here. So let's go into the euro dollar. So right now we can see that the euro dollar is kind of correlated with the Great Britain pound. So if I pull up the Great Britain pound and the euro dollar, oh, finally the correlation is ended. Okay, cool. So for about these last 2 weeks, the markets were very correlated, the Great Britain pound and the euro, and that's not usually like them. So that kind of threw me off for a second. Obviously, there's some fundamental data that I obviously didn't start to take out, anything that I saw. But the thing is that it happens sometimes, So I saw a lot of correlation with the euro dollar and the US dollar these last 2 weeks. So before we saw this upside momentum, just like we did see with the Great Britain pound, the market was obviously in the same criteria. There's a lot of same flows. So we had 1, 2, 3 bounces, and we look at the euro. We had the same thing, 1, 2, 3 bounces, and then we saw the upside. So we can see that the euro was having that, but now I am very highly confident that the euro is now making that peak formation. So if we were to go to, and this is the only reason we're going to go to a 4-hour chart, you guys, is to show you what I'm talking about. You guys can see that there's consolidation coming out here, which is going to make that wedge pattern. So we're going to go to the up, and I'm going to try to slow down just because I want to make sure you guys understand where I'm trying to dictate where price is going. So market is making this formation, this consolidation breakout area. So the market, as you can see, has been trending low, right? September, right, was low. November. So now we're going to look for psychological levels to have our reversal being formulated. So the peak formation was formed, as you can see, and I'm going to use a brush so you guys see what I'm talking about. Peak formation was formed, and then now you see that the support area is right here. So we're going to look for price to not break this area, so we can put our stops here. And now we're going to look for previous highs on where market structure, because we have to understand that it is the end of the month, end of the year, and it's going towards the end of the month. In the next couple weeks. So proprietary traders and bankers are going to look to make money and obviously even out the books. So we're going to look at psychological numbers. We're going to look at structures that develop that basically standard of where they can make the most profit. So if we're inducing sellers, if they've been inducing sellers to go short since early September, right, or late September, which is here, 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 and here, now the sellers are in the market as this time, right? We have more sellers than buyers. But now we're trying to, this is built up of liquidity from the downside, and it's just induce, and we got to look for where they're going to want to hit the stops. So let's look at a psychological level to see where we're going to be able to define where price is going to go to completely validate our structure and validate our price to basically make a high profitable trade. So for me, instantly, I straight up look to the upside saying this is consolidation at this area. So I'm going to just knock out these things real fast. So I see consolidation build up right here, and I see that it's coming into the to mid-month. So what happens during mid-month is usually the market reverses from one area to the next. So I see that this is going to be basically this area of whoa, sorry guys. Well, that was not what I meant to do. So right here is going to be the mid-month of the market. So I'll put a line right here, giving it this the mid-month. Come on. And by the way, for the people that are on this and they still are learning about the pips, I'm actually going to do that on Monday. So next week, I'm going to talk about all of the different structures and how pips work, the range of the market, other things like, excuse me, I might sneeze. Sorry, guys. Ooh, that was a close one. So I'm going to be talking about the pips. I'm going to be talking about the daily range and averages that the market goes by on each of the main pairs that we talked about on the ECB market, the electronic connection broker. I'm going to be talking about where the breakouts happen, on what time frame and what hours that happens. So I'm going to maximize your guys' knowledge on the basic fundamentals as well next week. So you're going to have this blueprint to take into the next couple of weeks to be able to close the year out with some killer trades. So hopefully you guys are going to be here next week, because that's going to be really important. And I really appreciate you guys liking and subscribing to my videos. I mean, it really brings a lot of confidence, and it brings a lot of happiness into the community. And not just that, but I love inspiring you guys, and I love you guys inspire me as well by waking up every single day and doing this. So I really am excited for you guys to make profits, and hopefully I can see some big changes in your trading career by using these structures. So that's my rant for the day, you guys. I'm not going to talk a little bit more about that, but I really appreciate that. So going forward, you guys, we can see that the market is going to see, like I talked about, this is going to be the midweek or mid-month, excuse me. So when the mid-month happens, usually there's going to be a reversal. So already seeing that there is an angular support area where the market is bouncing off, and I see that there's pressure being built up at this area, I'm going to probably see the market come back down next week on Monday to induce the sellers again one more time. They're going to try to drop price down. So if we're going to go back to the 15-minute chart, I just wanted to show you guys that. Let's go back to the 15-minute chart. They're going to try to basically, because you guys see how these are the highs of this week. So they're going to work off the lows of previous week before they break out price, just because they want to induce as much possibility as possible. So what I mean by that is that they're going to, this is obviously a consolidation area, but this is also the highs of the week. So the market came up, obviously consolidated price, and then is now same thing, price consolidated. I want to see a hit to these, not necessarily these lows, because this is obviously the previous week's low or previous month's lows, excuse me. But I want to see something in this area, right, to test these lows. So my hypothesis is that market's going to retest either 500, which is right here. This is going to be our first level retest. It might reverse here and bounce off. Or if it wants to go lower to really induce those sellers before they reverse price to the upside, they're going to go down to around 250. They're going to go to around right here. So between 250 and 350, right? So around, let me put it right here. They're going to reduce. So reason why, you guys, is like, Brent, why would they do that when all the liquidity is being built up? Is because a lot of traders, especially when it gets to the end of the month, they start FOMOing, because if they are investors and they actually manage other people's accounts, they want to obviously do well, or they might have had a losing streak or whatever. So a lot of people are very aggressive traders. That's why the market is correlated into the moon cycles, which we're going to talk about in a later video, how human behavior and human emotion is basically affected by the electromagnetic frequencies that the moon distributes into our neurological or neural system. So that's a huge one for another day. But just saying that is that people, even really great traders, they still have times where they feel the pressure, or they basically feel the burner on their butt. So they have to make the right decisions, because they have a portfolio to manage, and they have a brand to hold by. So a lot of people get very aggressive and they trade a lot, and this is where a lot of people lose a lot of money, and a lot of people make a lot of money. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying that the market is going to obviously come into a consolidation or have a retest is because I see the market testing this area, this high, 1, 2, and 3. After I see that third bounce, I'm going to see it probably break down one more time, maybe test this level, and then come down, test this level possibly, make it inverse head and shoulders, bounce that, make that a support, buy here at this area, right? This is going to be our buy, because we're buying at that weekly low, because I want to see Monday or Tuesday and next week be that weekly low. Because now that I see that the market is making that pressure out of the 4-hour chart, now I'm considerably looking for an upside momentum, but I'm trying to find where that entry is going to be by looking at the lows and trying to find that low of the week. So now I want to see an inverse head and shoulder probably at this psychological level, 113,500, and then I want to see price skyrocket, obviously, right, to new highs. So if we're looking at that for the euro dollar, we want to look at this area to buy at the low, and then obviously our capital is going to be very, very, structured and safe. The stop loss probably won't be hit, because we're already going to be looking at upside momentum, right? Because if we were to go back, like I said, to the 4-hour chart, we can already see that we're already making swing highs. So the market's probably going to make that inverse head and shoulder to break out to the upside, and then we're safe because there's that barrier of consolidation in between that market previously. So we're looking at those lows as considerably an area where there's that barrier, because all you're trying to do when you're putting your stop losses is looking for a barrier to put your money under so it won't hit it, right? It's a protector. So as we saw at the USD AUD, we had a little barrier. So we went on the 15-minute chart on yesterday's trade. We had a little barrier, right? We had basically our risk to reward was pretty self-explanatory. We had a short trade right here. The stop loss was previously at this low, and then we're going to go break out, which basically had a 3-to-1 risk to reward, right? So boom, this is exactly what yesterday's call out was. So we're right, but the thing is that we didn't have a big barrier to be able to minimize our losses, because there's no structure above this. It's just one little resistance level. So this is obviously, it's a good risk to reward, but at the same time, the exposure is still, and what I mean by exposure means not your capital. I'm talking about your investment quality, and your entry is very exposed because you're not putting it behind any structure. Where it's like if I were to put it behind this structure, it would have had more like concrete structure behind it. So your entry is not going to be that exposed. But since we're looking for a good risk to reward, and obviously we were right. Like I said, we were right on this trade. We were on the money, and obviously, it was a good trade. It's just finding those entries. That's the really big important thing. So we're not always going to win trades, but we're going to always try to find the best entries and exits, because then that gives us a way longer lifespan in this market. Because now we're taking into consideration that we got to find our entries, because really, if you think about it, the money is like a soldier, right? And you're basically trying to fight to maximize as much capital. And for us to be protected, we have to find barriers or structures for us to be protected from the other side of the market, which is the sellers if you're buying, and if it's the buyers if you're selling. It's complete parallel correlation. So we try to find that structure. So right here, if we took this trade, we had the market stop out on us. Obviously, you got stopped out just to hit this previous high, just to hit our target, right? So this happens, you guys. And the thing is that I'm not frustrated or anything. We had the USD CAD trade, obviously executed perfect down in my journal. I always write down in my journal every single time that I see a trade. And I see a trade, especially like yesterday's, that's a huge learning lesson. I write down, I'm like, okay, USD ZAR, price rebalance, making that M formation, because now I know how that market works. See, I don't really trade the USD ZAR, so I considerably, was, because I know the USD CAD doesn't do a lot of volatile spikes, especially on Fridays. So I know that it likes just to go the way that the market usually just wants to go to. That's why I was so confident that the markets, after this Sydney session consolidation, it was going to break to the downside. But for the USD ZAR, now that was a new currency that I'm trading, I noted down in my book. So then I now have that in my subconscious mind. So now it's going to automatically integrate that into when I trade this currency in the near future. So it's very, very important for you guys to write down your missing trades or your losing trades, or trades where you got stopped out as, but it ended up going, because it happens, you guys. It is what it is. But you got to understand that it's really good and important to have those written down, because then now you can use that for your embetterment and success. Use it as constructive criticism. Just use it as constructive criticism. Be like, hey, like, I was right, but my entry was not the right. I could have, waited. I should have been more patient. Wait for that Sydney session, because at that Sydney session, I could have saw the consolidation to the upside, and then I could have made that firm confirmation that the market is now making the information, and you could have bought at the highest point or sold at the highest point and would have made maximum profit. So that's a huge thing, and why it's really important to get forward on that as well. So hey Naeem, good to see you, brother. Tris, good to see you as well. Can you check AUD USD? Of course I can. I'll check AUD right now as well. So AUD USD is now in this consolidation area. So we can see now that the consolidation is basically forming at this support level. So what we did earlier is that when we took this trade earlier this week, we tried to see that this was a huge support level. So I previously was looking at this as 3 levels of rise. So for instance, this was one rise to the upside. I saw the market have this one side of rise, and then I had this second level of rise here. And then I thought that this was going to be a 3rd level of rise, right? So I was going to go long, but I obviously took into consideration that the market is now going to make a formation and stop out all these buyers before they move price up. So AUD is still long. We're still long on the Australian dollar. It's just the entry wasn't at the right time. So the Australian dollar, all we had to do, and this, I wrote this in my book as well, is just all I had to do was just wait for that confirmation at that high. Because if I would have just waited, because we made money off this from right here. We took an entry here. We're already up in position, but it's that we didn't take in consideration the micro time frame. So that's where it kicked my butt. So I was actually I saw that this was a consolidation area, and we talked about right before consolidation or right after consolidation is a breakout. So we talked about consolidation and then a breakout. So we caught this low. So we were right. But the thing that we didn't see is that the market at the lower time frames were making an M formation, right? So I should have been smart on the Discord and be like, hey guys, take profit now. Market looks like it's going to reverse. But obviously I was, I even got caught up on it, and I thought the market was just going to skyrocket and go to new highs. So, lesson learned, write that down. Before the market runs off, remember stop hunts, and we talked about stop hunts previously, but I want to go forward before I go into, and thanks Naeem for mentioning that, because it's really important, and I'm glad that you did, because I'm going to actually show you guys why this is so important, and this is exactly what happened to the AUD US dollar. So like I said, the guys, this is going to be available very soon. We're working on it right now, but I want to show you guys exactly where the markets make that stop hunt, which is a part of this program, where ideally you want to watch out for, right? So market stop hunts. So that's going to be the 11th one, which is the last one. So we're going to go back down here, and I'll answer questions after this, you guys. I just want to show you guys this is really important. So this is exactly what we're talking about. So the market made this formation where it came up. So market stop hunts are a complete definition of market manipulation. How are stop hunts created? Stop hunts are usually created in the market right before a reversal or continuation. Right before a reversal or continuation. You know what I'm saying, you guys? So this is exactly why it's really important to know stop hunts. So we'll go back to the market and we'll see where AUD is. So we see that the market is considerably, if we go to the higher time frames, it's considerably in a bullish segment now. Well, let me get out of this. Oops. Okay, cool. So we see that the market is considerably made that reversal from these lows, and now we're looking at the high. Okay, so we see that the lows are right here at this previous low. The market, this is going to be the lows, right? This is the lows for the Australian dollar, period. The market made that peak formation. It made this first shoulder, now obviously made the lows of the thing, and then now the market is considerably focusing on that upside, okay? So now we see that this is now the consolidation area, and then now the market is flowing into the upside. So that's what I mean by the Australian dollar and how that market is worked. So it's really important that we understand that. Hey, Michael, what's going on, man? I'm glad you're on. I think one of the rules will for a double or a triple test to structure before entrance. Good teaching. Yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. And we're going to go over Great Britain, pound, and Japanese yen. No problem. I just wanted to make sure that we understand where the market is going for the Australian dollar, as well as where market price is going. And I want to show you guys why this happened, where it made this huge retracement on even where I got stopped out on, and why it made that retracement as well. So this is obviously where we're talking about a stop hunt. So it's stopping out a lot of those people that are buying. So people bought here, they're buying here, they're buying here, they're buying here. They see that breakout, and then basically in 1 week, or I wouldn't say 1 week, I would say in 3 days, or yeah, about a week. This happened. This started in the beginning of the week, because on Monday, obviously, we're long, and then we took that bullish segment, and then by Tuesday we already got shorted out of the market. So now, excuse me, we're still long on this market. We're still long on the AUD US dollar, and we're still having the market look great for the upside momentum. So now we just have to make sure that we're going to focus on. We're going to focus mostly on getting to the upside and obviously making these positions for the buy, okay? So really exciting stuff, you guys, that this is just a stop hunt, just like we talked about in the video previously, how the market makes these stop hunts all the time right here, how stop hunts are usually created in the market right before a reversal or a continuation. So we see that this was the market stop hunt, and then this is where the reversal was. But for us though, the market is actually going into a continuation on the direction it was previously. So next week is going to be a really good time to buy the Australian dollar, and we're going to be looking for our entries in next week's live stream as well. So right now that's really important. So if that answers your question, you guys, on that as well. So we're going to just finish up the euro before I go into the Great Britain pound, Michael, and then we'll be able to go forth with building our blueprint for next week's trading. So as we talked about before, you're right, Michael. 3 hits to structure high, and then we're going to see a minor reversal, and then we're going to see market test back. And if we were to take a Fibonacci retracement from swing high to swing low as well, we can use that. We can probably see that it's going to be previously at between the 50 or the 61.8% retracement. So we can see that from that swing high to that swing low. And then now we can see perfectly this could possibly be right at that 50% retracement level, breaking that 61, and then having that support, because it already had support from that 38.2, as you guys can see here. It already had that support. So next support level will be the 50. So we're going to see a breakout there. So we're looking to go long probably a Monday, Tuesday on the euro dollar. Right now, I'm not going to take any positions as of right now, because the market is Friday. There's consolidation traps. So basically, I'll tell you why I don't trade on Fridays, because usually the market is a trap. So like there's consolidation areas always in the market. And usually when the runs happen, either Thursday or Friday. And depending on where the structure is compatible, then that's where the market run is going to happen. So for instance, today, or last night, yesterday, that's when the market already made, sorry, let me go to 50-minute chart real fast. And we already see that this is where market price already made its run. And the reason why I got back in this trade obviously is because we made that X formation. So as you guys can see, it was already hit. So it doesn't matter. We already, this is why I really usually don't trade in, in Fridays, because we already made the profit for that day. There's no reason for us to make another trade right now because the market has already made its run. And if we're just going to try to catch another percentage, then we're obviously probably just going to overtrade and we're going to lose money. So might as well just hit one position, which obviously we did here. We took that one trade and then perfect. Now you're done. Wait for the next trade, wait for the next setup. So that was important. And obviously that was just a little new mistake right there. So don't mind that. So we're on the right track, you guys. So that is literally how we're going to be trading. And the way that this is how you stay profitable as well, is by taking trades when it gives you positions. Like you have to wait for the position setup. You can't just freely just look at its chart and be like, okay, I see that the market is going to go into a certain area, and then I'm just gonna I'm gonna buy here. But as you know, that every market has a range per day, so it's really important that we find the specific range type, and then we have to make our formulations and calculations around that range type of the week, so we don't get into trades that are not really meant to be taken as well. So I hope that answers a couple of you guys' questions on not trading the market when when the market's not giving you anything. Don't trade it. So you want to look at JPY, JPY. So I will look at that real fast. So right here, kind of same thing right now. It's in that consolidation, inducing a lot of sellers to go short. And then it could possibly, if we got to look at also higher time frames to make sure that the market is, so possibly this is a huge area of support, as you guys can see previously. So it can go either two directions right now, that the market is completely in this consolidation area right here. The market obviously can have that false breakout to the upside and then break this huge level of support to try to test these previous lows, which I'm actually looking into more so than actually reversing. There's too much downwards momentum pressure. And I'm actually going to look at the moon cycles, because this is actually the perfect time, because what we have to understand is that the moon cycles are formulated, and they do when there's a full moon and a new moon. It's usually when the market does a huge reversal or it breaks a really big structure or support. And right here for the Great Britain pound Japanese yen, we can see that the market structure is pretty big. So I'm going to actually look into that for you, Michael. But from just looking at it, it's still a short. Actually, I would say that I wouldn't go long at all, period. There's just, I mean, my intuition is just telling me, period, like this is going to break. Like this consolidation area is going to, it's gonna have this consolidation area, and then probably you might see upside momentum. You're gonna see downside, probably retest, and then come back down to these previous lows and to make this low and then consolidate from there. So that's what I previously see where market price is going as of right now, that I think, Michael, at this point. So I hope that I'll look into that as well on those cycles as well, because I'm actually really interested. That's actually I'm actually going to look into that, because that looks really interesting, and I want to actually dissect that even more. But let me actually look at the 15-minute chart, and I'll be able to give you a firm decision. Yeah, it just, right now, I can just tell the market just has way too much downwards momentum. Like, I can just tell by these swing highs and these wicks that every single time, and the reason why I could tell that the market is still going to be in a downturn is because the market is not making upwards swing highs here. See, the market's still going down, and you see that wick here. Well, it just barely retests, and then now it's already at that low. So the market is definitely still at this is a huge support level. I mean, if you look at the 4-hour chart, it's still a huge support level, but I really, really believe that the market, because this is the beginning of the year, or excuse me, sorry, this is August of this year. So if I was a proprietary trader, I went long for about August, September, October, November, December. I went long for 4 months, and then I'm taking back price, and I'm ending my books where I started at a similar level. So that makes way more sense than actually retesting price and ending your books at the end of the year with highs when you can just end your books at the lows. That makes perfect sense. So if I was a proprietary trader and investment banker, I'd be shorting the Great Britain pound to be buying the yen. And honestly, at this opinion, I do believe the market is going to come up and then break down to the downside. This looks like a descending triangle for sure, where the market's going to consolidate and then just pop and keep on moving down. So I hope that answers your question, Michael. And I hope that you could, I'll look into it a little more for you so you'll be able to understand in next week's segment as well. I'll have a firm analysis for that Great Britain pound, Japanese yen. So going forth, I'm going to be going over the Great Britain pound at this time, you guys, and showing you where the market is possibly going at this point. So reason being that I am long Great Britain pound US dollar, but short Great Britain pound yen is that the validation of currencies are different. So even though that the US dollar has still a lot of correlation to the markets, and it does have a lot of moving momentum, I'm very aware that the US dollar is still going to be plummeting for starting the end of this year, and then also until probably mid of next year, we're going to see a correction. So that's why I'm still long the Great Britain pound, and I really believe that Brexit was a lot of smoke and mirrors and propaganda trying to really give people hype of having the dollar be stronger than the yen or the Great Britain pound. And that's why I'm actually going to see the reversal, because I'm actually trying to go opposite. So where I see this consolidation at, I see the market is still showing a lot of momentum to the downside. So as we can see right here, this consolidation is huge at this point, or we can see the market is definitely, put that perfectly, in between this range area. So that being said, I'm going to see the market come to the upside and test at least these previous highs and end the books probably around this level for the end of the year. I don't actually see it breaking this this daily support, and I don't see the market testing these levels of October 2016. I just don't see that happening at this point. This is a huge support level that I believe that the dollar can't break through at this point. I believe that the dollar is just not strong enough to break the Great Britain pound's level right here at this structure. I believe that it's actually going to see the market actually do the opposite of what the Great Britain pound is, where these levels are going to touch the lows of August instead of, sorry, we're on the daily chart, August right here. I want to see the markets test the August lows here, and for the Great Britain pound, I want to see the markets test the highs over here in the market. So I hope that answers you guys' answers about. It's just different correlated. It's just different correlations how the market pairs, because just because the Great Britain pound Japanese yen is going short doesn't mean that all Great Britain pound cross pairs are going to go the average in the opposite way. So a lot of people are seeing a lot of indecision right here. This is a huge showing that the market is running out of gas. There's a lot of wicks. There's a lot of we call these spinning tops. Spinning tops are and we'll go over candle formations, but spinning top candles are basically an indecision candle. So indecision meaning that the market is showing a lot of indecision of where the capabilities of the market momentum can obviously go at this time. So we're looking for a reversal at this point. You see spinning tops usually at the top of the market. You can see a spinning top here. You can see them here. You can see them here, because spinning tops are usually a correlation of too much pressure of the other momentum of the other side. So I really believe that we will see price actually end up, and we're obviously in the daily time frame. I want to see it end between 12500 and 12750 by the end of the year. Definitely in this area of market price, I would like to see the Great Britain pound move to the upside here. It just gives me more confirmation. It gives me more theoretically, it just looks better, and through fundamental analysis as well, through the Great Britain pound and the US dollar, I completely agree with this reversal. As for, we kind of saw previously on yesterday's trade when we took that short or that long position, where we saw the same thing happen, but on a micro perspective, where market had this downwards momentum and then consolidated, had those spinning tops, and then moved to the upside, testing these previous highs. Okay, so and then we can already see right now that the market is going back to the same thing, testing these previous lows and still making higher highs. So we should see a shootout to the upside in next week's trade. So reason why I'm not taking any positions, you guys, right now is because the market is done. Like, we're already in London, we're already in New York session. There's basically no more runs as of right now in the market period. Like, we're not going to find any more pairs that are going to be doing more than 30 to 40 pips as of right now. The market closes at 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So we're right now, whatever trades we took the Great Britain Pound, we took the USD CAD, we took the USD ZAR yesterday. We took, I think that was the only trades we took. And then obviously next week, pairs we're going to look to enter are going to be the Australian dollar to the US dollar. We're going to look to go long here. We're going to wait for this consolidation to a breakout. So probably Tuesday, we're going to see looking for a long position here. Same thing with the euro dollar. We're going to be looking for that formulation at the Fibonacci retracement, that 50, getting that inverse head and shoulders, going long probably Tuesday as well. And we want to see, and we could probably, we could sell this retracement. If you guys are into scalping and basically seeing this level as a resistance area, trying to get more brute force into buying and reversing, you could sell this, especially starting on Sunday, and see if that if that goes into the formulation. And obviously, I will have a signal indicator for that. So this could be a huge short position. So I'm going to actually put that in the Discord. After this actually, I'm probably going to do it on Sunday when I actually see market consolidate into a fallback. And once I see that formation into Sunday, I'm going to see probably retracement inducing those, like I said, those short positions on Monday and Tuesday, and then going long on probably that Tuesday, making a signal for the upside. So we're going to have some really killer signals for next week, for next week's trade. I'm already mapping them out right here. But as for the live trades, there isn't really anything. Yesterday was our last day that we could really find a good position to take. So, hopefully you guys got in this trade on the USD's CAD, and we almost had this one. We obviously were on the right direction. We just obviously didn't have the entry at the right time, but things happen. So we're gonna make sure that we have it ready for next time. So if actually you guys are still looking to go short, this is a perfect time for the USD ZAR. Obviously, this is just a retest to the high. This is just this is called a market stop hunt. So what happens is that the market is basically, I'm gonna actually move this real fast. So the market is considerably making these highs, and we already had the momentum to the downside, but all the market is doing now is inducing those buyers one more time before they drive price back to the downside. And I have a perfect description of this in my prior, and actually the program, where the market did the same thing, where it basically consolidated and made its run to the downside and then shot price back up just to bring them back down. So if we look at the USD ZAR, it's doing the same thing. It's consolidating, made it down to the upside, shooting price up just to move price back down. So I hope that answers some of your guys' questions on what formulations, what things we're going to be working on next week, and what correlations are going to be traded, where the euro dollar is going to be next week, where the Great Britain pound dollar is going to be next week. Oh, and I have to go over the USD JPY. So we're still short on the USD JPY as of now. Right now, the market is making its consolidation area, but we're going to still look for downside momentum. Obviously, we took that huge trade on last Monday, and we executed it perfectly, testing these levels. This is a huge psychological level, as you guys can see previously. If we went to the 4-hour chart, let me move this. If I can go to the 4-hour chart, we can see that the market is showing that this is a huge support level previously, where the market made that huge upside momentum to make that downside. So now we're going to see it break. I really believe that there's going to be a new moon soon. Actually, let me check this out, you guys, real fast with you guys, because I want to see the new moon cycle. I'm actually really it's gotta be. Oh, perfect. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Okay, it's a new moon. So I told you guys on new moons and full moons, the market is going to either break or reverse. Okay, so that makes perfect sense. I'm like, okay, that makes sense now. So this is why the market's at this resistance. So we're gonna see a huge breakout out of this area to the downside next week, because like we talked about in the moon cycles, it's a huge moving indicator that the market either breaks or retraces huge levels. So I mean, take this with a grain of salt, you guys. I have actually been studying these moon cycles with the market. I've done 5 years of back testing on the market structures to see if this actually is very correlated, and it is. It really does work. Like when you see areas like where there's huge support levels, because think about it, most pairs right now are at huge support levels or huge resistance levels. Here is the market at a huge resist or support level going into a resistance if you're going down. We see the Great Britain pound, same thing. It's at a huge level, right? And then we see as well, huge support level. So all prices right now are correlated with the moon cycles and either going to reverse or go the opposite way right now. So good afternoon, Zane. Good to see you, brother. I hope you're having a good day as well. And I'm glad at NYC 123 I'm able to understand, because I know that you want to understand those moon cycles as well. So I hope I was able to answer your question with that. Zane, very cool perspective on new moon cycles. I firmly believe human behavior is influenced overall moon cycles. Heck yeah, it is, man. It's totally interconnected. The energetic vibrations that we produce is the same energetic vibrations that the universe really is correlated with. So yeah, definitely, man. That's a huge one. So I'm actually really excited, you guys, because there's gonna be some huge moves for us to make some money next week. And we're going to see some really, really big moves. So I'm going to do my homework this weekend, definitely as well. I'm going to map out a lot of stuff. I'm going to have it in our Discord group. And I'm going to actually put in the moon phases as well in the Discord group. And I'm going to actually do my analysis and put that as there as well. So I'm really excited, and we're going to definitely see some huge breakouts. So just to recap stuff, you guys, I know that today's going to be a kind of on the shorter video because it is Friday and I don't really have the markets are going to be closed, but I do want to recap with a lot of the segments we went over with. So as you guys can see, that the Great Britain pound, we're looking for a reversal. It is going to be a new moon this weekend, so it is also going to be a huge reversal for the Great Britain pound. We're going to see the Japanese Great Britain pound, Japanese yen to actually break this area, and we're going to see it break through it and come down to August lows. Obviously swing high, swing low, maybe a retest, maybe a false breakout. But we understand that we're just getting the blueprint that this market is looking to break these levels and go down to here. Just like how it did previously with the USD CAD, how the market basically, broke this area, came back down, and then perfectly going out their retracement. So USD CAD too, we're going to see a huge reversal to the downside. I'm really excited, guys. This is big time. So totally out of nowhere. I don't know if that was just, this the universe putting that in my brain or something, but super, super cool stuff, you guys, that the market is going to be reversing soon. We're going to see a lot of pairs reverse. We're going to see AUD, USD have an upside momentum. We're going to have so many freaking pairs to trade. So I'm really excited about that. So as you guys can see, that this can be either a support area or we're going to see a breakdown resistance. I really believe that this area is going to hold, and we're going to start to see an upwards retracement into new highs. And all this was a micro stop hunt into the downside, and we're going to see upside momentum. And this was obviously the consolidation area. So really, really awesome stuff, you guys. I'm super excited, as well as really, really important. So thank you for putting this into my trading perspective. Hey, of course, man. Thank you so much for being a part of this program. Thank you for being a member of Traders Profit Club, and thank you for being on the live stream. It's an honor to tell you guys this. I'm actually just excited as you guys are right now, because I know that there's a lot of money to be made, especially next week with a lot of reverses. So I'm actually really happy as well. And I don't need to take off course, but maybe you can mention your thoughts on BTC at the moon. So of course, yeah, definitely. NYC 123, I'll definitely do that right now for you before I get off this live call. So let's go to Bitcoin real fast. I think I have it available right here. Let's see. Perfect. Exactly. Same thing. False breakout. We're going to see an upward reversal on Bitcoin, because if you guys look at it previously, it's already at previous structure low. Like right now, the market can't really full flow, or it possibly can break this level as well. So to answer your question, there's two things that Bitcoin can do. So either Bitcoin is going to break this level of 3,500 where it already basically has, but it's going to like break it and test now levels of like 2,000. So either that, because right now it's already broke the psychological 3,500 because it is the new moon and it's already broke the moon cycle. It's already happening. So it's actually really awesome that I'm on the same, that I'm live with you guys right now. So it's already happening. So right now this could be a false breakout where the market is falsely showing a bearish movement and they can come to the upside. But to be honest, it really looks like it's going to keep on falling. Like I really believe that this is just the moon cycles actually use this indication for it to drop to hit like the lower levels. To be honest, NYC, like I really believe that this is actually going to go down. So I really see actually Bitcoin hitting lower levels at this point. I don't really think that there isn't really any upside momentum that's showing a reversal. And you can tell when a reversal is going to happen. Like you see that huge wick to the upside. So this is a possibility. But at the same time, I'm just not sure right now. It's just not looking good for Bitcoin. It's still looking like a short, to be honest. So it's just looking like, yeah, it looks like this is the only reason why it's correlated with the moon cycles is actually not for the good for Bitcoin. I think it's not really, it still has nothing to do with good or bad. We just bring meaning to a non-meaningless concept. But I really believe that it's going to still be a short. I believe that since it already broke 3,500, it possibly is going to be a short. But I still give it possibilities that it could be a reversal. So to answer your question, there's obviously only two ways that I can go by. But right now, I really believe that the market is still going to fall and break down. So Zane, I missed your video yesterday. Did you touch on pips by chance? No, I'm actually going to do that next week, Zane. I'm going to be going. I have actually a full presentation for you guys next week. That's going to go over what are pips, how do pip works, like what how much money you need to do and how much money you need to go through to do each margin, like what a standard lot is, what a micro lot is, what a mini lot is. I'm going to go over that in a presentation form. So make sure you have a pen and a paper for next week's segment because I'm going to go over that very, very quick. Perfect, man. I look forward to explaining it and going over it. And you're also welcome. Sorry about that, you guys. So you're also welcome about that. So I really appreciate you guys being on today's live chat. If you have any other questions, please feel free to put them in the comments at this time. I'm going to be in the Discord group after this as well. I'm going to be there for probably most of the day. And really excited for next week training with you guys and this live stream. We're going to be talking about pips. We're going to have killer entries on the pairs we talked about today, the euro, the US dollar, Japanese yen, and the Great Britain pound. We're going to have some killer signals next week. So I'm really excited. I'm so stoked for this. And I will see you guys next week. So if you guys have any comments, make sure to like and subscribe if you guys haven't. I really appreciate you guys for the comments. I really appreciate you guys coming on every day. It makes me happy. It makes me super, super confident on just, that this information that I've taken time off to get, to learn this stuff that is actually coming to fruition, that now people can use this and make money. So Michael Jones, can you do a tutorial on pips and placing with the value risk? Yeah, next week we're going to talk about the tutorial. We're going to go over all of the for Rwanda. Okay, so we'll go over brokers as well in probably next week's segment as well. We'll go over different brokers on which ones are the best, and we'll go over risk management. We'll go over values and stuff like that with the PIP segment as well. So I have that working, and I will be able to get over all the stuff. Hero, thanks so much for joining. Appreciate it, bro. We'll always keep on going stronger, man. I want to make sure everybody at the end of the day is having the best knowledge possible and that they're learning. So I hope you guys got a lot of information out of this. I'm glad I was able to go over the moon cycles today. That's one of the biggest things. So we're going to be seeing some huge breakouts in the markets on all markets like gold, oil, NASDAQ, and currencies, options. We're going to see a lot of huge turnovers, especially because it is December and the new moon. I mean, we're already seeing it right now. Like the 3,500 just broke on today, and then if we looked at today's moon cycle, it literally is a new moon. like it just broke that psychological level. So we're literally like speaking on this as it's happening right now with us. So I'm really excited and like super happy that I'm on it with you guys right now. But I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you guys are safe, and make sure to be here Monday with me, and we're gonna be going over a ton of knowledge and just killing the markets and learn to stay profitable. So I'll see you guys on Monday, and I'll be in the Discord group if you guys have any questions, and I'll also be having some killer signals as well. If you guys already saw some of the signals that I did, you should have made some profit on one of them. The other one obviously was on the right direction, but our stop was too tight. But moving forward, we're gonna be able to flow and control the new things. Oh, I'm glad, NYC. I'm glad that I'm blowing your mind, because you guys are blowing my mind. But it's how much I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for you guys. I'm so grateful for all the stuff that you are giving me so many compliments. It's just a lot of the stuff I actually was just in my house, just studying this stuff night and day for about a year and a half, and finally I put it down into content. And I hope you guys just have a great weekend, and see you guys on Monday. All right, I won't take you too long. Bye, guys.